I'm going to try hard to get you on the page of why you're here today. First, the journey. I was at Lowe's at the commercial desk about 4 years ago. Jason Tickle comes in, and I'm trying to sell him material. He wants pricing for a house, right? I was a good, faithful Lowe's salesman. And so I took his plans and I priced out everything. And so Lowe's is here with us today, and so I worked with Rob, and so here I am putting together these prices because Jason said he had a grant to come to Caroline County, my home county, to build some affordable homes. And he came in one day, he says, "Mac, I'm gonna make you a deal. You come to work for Habitat and I'll make you a DOBO, a Director of Building Operations." Now, what kind of deal is that? You know, to be a DOBO. And now I'm a DOBO. But in his conversation, he was like begging me to come and work for Habitat. Now, after 46 years of being in the industry, as designing and building homes for my company, my family company, at 46 years of building, I was pretty much like, I don't have anything to prove. I've driven enough nails. I want to ride off in the sunset behind the desk at Lowe's. And then he says, I said, "Why should I come and build more homes?" And he says, "Mac, we don't build homes, just build homes. We build community." And I still blew him off. I said, "I don't want any parts of that." Until I went to Liberty University to a Christian men's conference, and Deshaun Watson gave a testimony. And in his testimony, he said he was so thankful to God that his mother could get a Habitat home to take him out of the projects, for him and his brother to have a safe place to play football in the backyard. And that's why he was the youngest ever NFL quarterback starter. And all of a sudden, Jason's words kept hitting me in the back of the head about building community. Now, here's why I want to tell you a personal story. Floyd just mentioned something that has been mentioned 4 different times in the last 24 hours in conversation. He says it takes a village. Well, I want to paint you a picture of what that looks like. In 1991, I was fortunate to be asked to travel to Africa and build churches in the bush of Africa. So at the age of 31, I flew into Dar es Salaam, East Africa, 650-mile train ride into the heart of Africa to Mbeya, and then another 10 hours by Jeep into the Rift Valley. And anybody know anything about the Rift Valley? A lot of people think that's where civilization actually started. And I went there to build churches to people who are just isolated from the world. The only thing that looked anything normal to my normal world was these little cups. If you can remember back to 1991, we used to have butter that came in little drinking cups. And that's the only thing that I could identify in these villages as civilization. And I met the most wonderful people who taught me the most about life that I could ever have been a part of. Because those people live in a village. And everything they do is about building that village and making it stronger. There are no individuals. And you say, how do I know that? Because every morning I woke up, the little children went around through the village to collect eggs so they could put it in the village spot. They didn't take that egg home with them. They didn't deposit that in their bank account. Their job was to collect the eggs so the village could survive. You had a job to do. It might be getting the water or the firewood or planting the crops. but there was not a single individual in that community. Everything they did was to make the individual stronger and better for the village. The most peaceful, loving, sharing people that I have ever met, and I've traveled around the world, and I have never experienced anything anymore like feeling at home, because they only thought of their village. A lot of you have used that term, but I have experienced what it looks like. And so I came back, and Jason's word finally settled in to build a village. Now, the day that I left Lowe's and the first grant signing, I met Dr. Caveira. And let me tell you something, she is a champion about everything she does in life is for her students. She is all in 100%. Every moment I've ever seen her, her whole life is about building her village, which are these students. So I talked to her, and boy, I'll tell you what, you have a conversation with her, she just takes it. And the idea was, how about Habitat coming into the school system and being a part of building this community, this school system. And with my experience in building, I think I have a little something to offer to her students. And boy, she was on top of it, big time. So that's when it started. That's the partnership between Habitat and the Caroline County school system. So here we are. We started out, and here's your return on investment. We started out with a program 4 years ago. The students were going to build some wall panels, and we're going to set them down in Milford, a part of the house, and they did. It was marginal success of the things that we had planned. So they came out, built the walls, we moved the walls down to the first house. Great start. Well, I want you to know that a student from that build went on to get a job. Is anybody here from MC Dean? MC Dean is a big supporter of the program here. So from this program, he started out building those walls, got a career with MC Dean, and last week he came in and signed the papers to have a Habitat to build him a house in Ladysmith. And stop and think about that. Through your system, the impact of this one individual who not only got excited about what he was doing, but found a career. And at the age of 21, he'll be moving next June into a house with a career going and a Habitat, and he'll probably be worth $50,000, probably more or less, in home equity. And somebody should be applauding that return on investment. That's a tremendous story. Also, we had a young man. Is anybody here from Watts, G.H. Watts? That's his grandson. But early on, the blueprints for the first build was done by a student team. And one of those student teams that all the education he had for designing houses came from a high school. Gary Watts found out about him because he did the blueprints for Habitat. Gary Watts interviewed him and gave him a position 3 months before he went across the stage and graduated. He's been with Watts Construction now for over 3 years. So this young man is totally a genius, but he didn't have the opportunity. He was a Russian immigrant whose father had passed away, and 3 months before he graduated, Gary Watts hired him, and he's been with Gary now for over 3 years and just produced some of the finest houses you will ever want to see and design. That's one of the returns on investment. Another thing that's really great about this whole thing is that young man right there, Noah Hughes. Now, one of the challenges for the high school here, or for any school system, is absenteeism. And one of the ways they combat absenteeism is to build excitement in some of the classrooms. And seriously, I don't know anybody that has built any more excitement into his classroom than Noah. Now, when you get the homecoming queen, and the public announcement says her best class, the one she enjoys the most, is carpentry, then you're doing something right as a teacher. So let's applaud. That's just incredible. That's incredible. We were able to get a grant through the GWRC, and that's going to do 20 lots. JC comes up with the idea, man, of stewardship. It's like, that is a lot of money for a couple of people to manage for the community. So how do we best do that? And through that conversation, we decided that because we had a partnership with the school, wouldn't it be nice? You understand? It's one of those dreams that you have. Wouldn't it be nice if we could donate one of those lots to the program where the students could build a house and sell it and take the money and put it back into the school system where they can repeat? So we could use this as seed money. Rural areas don't have that kind of money to put that kind of program together. So let's take this grant money that we have as good stewards and make it go as far as we can for building the community. So now we have a lot. Of course, the school is on top of it. I'm thinking we're going to go out there to the lot and build a house. Noah says we can't bus kids across the county and back and forth. The logistics won't work. And so we're going to build this thing on campus. And I'm going, okay, that's a whole different. Okay, so that's why you are here today. It's because we've designed a house that we're going to be able to move to the lot. And by the way, let's sell this thing at cost to one of our veterans. So there's a principle. Of course, Habitat is an international Christian organization, and that's a principle by which we live by. And that principle is that we are not individuals. We are a community. And Scripture clearly shows that as we come together in unity, across the board, with all our differences, come together in unity of purpose, and the purpose is, today, is to build our community. It is great that the kids get a good education, but what we give these kids is a legacy of the people here today that come together as a community. They've got to be learning that they're part of something larger than they are. And that education is more than to just build their self-value. We know that as we build wealth into an individual, we build wealth into our community. And so we're here as an example of the day. Somehow or another, in your person, you believe that at some point, or you wouldn't have been here today, that you want to help our community and build our community and make it stronger. So I want you to applaud yourself for being here and being a part of this program.